What you want to do to get started on our apartment is go ahead and start out with a blank new file using our EHS basic template. Once you've done this, while it's still blank, we want to go ahead and we want to click save. It's going to want to put it in the template folder on your device or maybe somewhere else, but you need to make sure you go to the right place. So go ahead and click my computer, find the network location that looks like your login name, double click it, and I would suggest clicking the new folder button and making a folder for this class. I'm going to abbreviate mine as ArchDes or Architectural Design and open that up. You can then, at this point, either make folders or this project is fairly simple. It's just going to be one file. So I'm going to go ahead and just name the file demo apartment. We're not turning this in a way that it matters to have a unique name. So you're fine to just name it exactly like I did. And then we'll go ahead and click save. By saving it and giving it a name, we've just done a couple of things. Number one, we've created the place to save so that as we get to the end of a class, we can just hit save and it saves our changes. Number two, periodically, it's now going to create an automatic backup every so often in that same location. Now it'll be the file name and then dot and a four number listing number. And now those are the backup files. So those are just there in case we need them in the future if we have a corrupt file or something like that. So we just leave those alone. It'll create up to two backups, kicking the oldest one out as it makes a new one. So we're now ready to start drawing. The first tool that we're going to go over is in our architecture menu. We're going to go over the wall tool. So as I click the wall tool, in my properties menu, I can select what type of wall. So I have these generic type walls that they look kind of good, but we never use them. We want to specify whether we want interior walls or exterior walls. This whole list is in alphabetical order. So as you can see, we get exteriors, and then we get brick, CMU walls, and some various other types. So you can pick any of the exterior wall types that are on wood studs. So when we're doing house stuff, we're really looking at wood stuff, wood stud walls. Excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and pick wood siding on wood studs. Very typical exterior wall type. And then just so that you know, we want to also set our settings in this green bar right here. So our walls should be 10 feet tall. And our location line, we want to switch to finished face interior. What that means is as I draw a wall, which I'm just going to click out here and start to draw, as you can see, I am drawing a line and it's basically creating that three-dimensional wall that's 10 feet tall on with my line being the inside or the interior wall, the drywall side of the wall, if you want to think of it that way. So you usually want to draw your walls in a certain location, kind of in a clockwise fashion as you go around a shape. That should keep the exterior surface on the outside. If they're accidentally backwards, there is a way to reverse them. We're going to use that tool here in a few minutes anyway, so I'll show you how to do that then. So what I did do is I clicked and released. I drug out, and as you can see, when it's horizontal, there is no angle indicator, so that's how you know you're in the right spot. And now without doing anything, I'm just going to start typing, and I'm going to start type 28 feet and push enter. And I just made a 28-foot wall. No, I did not. I believe I accidentally typed inches. So if that happens to you, you can undo back, get your wall tool again, and we will start over. 28 feet this time is the apostrophe. There's my 28-foot wall. I'm going to drag straight down. You're going to see it's telling me I am dragging at 90 degrees, which is exactly what I want. I'm going to do 28 feet again to get a kind of upside down L shape. Then I'm going to drag in this direction, 14 feet. I'm going to drag up 14 feet. And I'm not going to type the rest of the time, but I'm going to make sure I line this up very, very accurately. So as I drag across horizontally, you can see it indicates to me where I'm lined up with that. So I can click my wall And then I'm going to drag straight up to that corner. And again, you'll see I just put two 14-foot walls in, both this one and that one, 14 and 14, without typing because I was using the references that it showed me. So this is my current setup. I'm going to go ahead and click to modify. This is kind of like the way you can get out of a lot of different tools. And I'm now going to start to divide this space with some interior walls. So as I go to the wall tool, I'm going to drop this down and I'm going to switch to interior 4 and 7/8 partition walls. These are regular walls that are framed with 2x4s, like most walls are, and have drywall layers on both sides. So that's why I picked this one, because that's what would be used in all of the places where I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to also make sure that I am on finished face interior as well. And I am going to, it's trying to bring these all the way up to the roof. I'm going to change them to be unconnected so I can set the interior walls at 8 feet tall. Because the interior walls would basically come up and touch the ceiling. They would kind of end where the ceiling level is, which in most homes would be at an 8-foot height. So I'm going to put 8 foot, hit enter, and there we go. Sometimes Revit does guess, so always read what it says. You can have two ways that you can have the wall height specified. Either it goes to a certain level, which would be like roof or the following level, or you can input a height. So for this, we just input the height of 8 feet. So as I start, I'm going to start on this corner, and I'm going to drag it across. As you can see, I can go straight across. It's going to be 14 feet. It's going to intersect at the midpoint. And when I'm done, I can push enter or escape to get out of the tool. Now you'll notice my wall's not in quite right. If I click my modify tool, you'll notice it touches just at a corner, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted the wall to come straight across. This line is correct, but the line that's right now above it needs to be below it. So if I click this, it'll select, and you'll notice I have these little flip arrows right here, and I can flip it so that it's the other direction. This is what I want. I wanted this surface to be even with this surface right here. But you'll notice I've got a nice smooth joint right here, but this one not so much. If I click the wall, there is I call it the make a corner tool, but trim and extend the corners. And I can click this wall, I can click that wall, and it will blend them in. Very simple and easy, not a big deal. So if you do get that, just use that blend tool to fix that for you. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to grab my interior wall tool again. And I have this kind of set up as a bedroom area. Well, we want an attached bathroom and an attached closet over in these areas. So what I will do first is I'm just going to, it does give me an indication of about where I'm starting. And if that helps you, great. I actually like to set those exactly at the end. So just go ahead and I'm going to start my wall, draw down, and I'm going to draw over to box this in. I'm going to hit escape. I still have my wall tool, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make sure I don't put it on a midpoint in case it's not actually a midpoint. And I'm going to draw straight down, and I'm going to put those two walls in. Now you might go, okay, well, those are just thrown wherever. I thought we needed to be accurate, and we do. So if I click the modify tool, I can click this wall, and it's going to show me the distance right here from this surface to this surface. If it's ever not showing you the proper surface, you can drag these dots around to different objects. And that it's showing at 4 feet, which is exactly what I want. So that's perfect. If I click this wall, this one is showing at 2'8". I only want it to be at 2 feet. Now, if I click this wall, it'll give me a couple options. Either I can set the closet width, or I could set the bathroom width. In this case, I'm going to set the closet width at 6 feet and let the bathroom just be whatever's left. So those are my interior walls that I'm using to divide the bedroom space into bedroom, bathroom, and closet. Now in this main area, I'm going to use an interior wall as well to divide it into living room and kitchen. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my wall tool. And with the same interior wall tool, I am going to come in and I am going to try to line up. Okay, that's not the right wall. I had to kind of guess, but if you notice, I can kind of follow this up and it helps me line up with that point so that I can create an exact alignment with it, which is nice. I'm going to just roll out, roll back in, and I'm going to draw this straight up. Now I want to show you a different tool. So I'm going to draw it not quite straight up. All right, so if I wanted to, I can make this extend to here. Now we've done that before, and you might go, oh, this is that cornering tool thing. Well, okay, let's give that a shot. So if I grab my cornering tool and I go from here to there, oh, but wait, I wanted this wall. That's a problem, right? So there's another tool that you have, and it's the one right next to it that's called Trim Extend Single Element. So the first thing it asks you for is the boundary. If you stop and wait, it'll actually tell you what it's looking for. And also, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, it'll tell you what it's waiting for. So the boundary is here. That's where I want it to go to. This is what I want to extend, and you can see the dotted line kind of shows me my result. And I'm going to click it, and it's going to extend. So that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. And you can see that I also have these are lined up exactly right. So that is the wall layout of the demo apartment. We're now going to add some of the other structural features that we will need. The first one is going to be floors. Now, floors is going to have a slightly different menu. So as I click to add a floor, you'll notice I have in the middle of my menu, or near the middle of the screen, the green check mark and the red X. This tool locks you into building a floor until you actually accept what you've done or you close out and you cancel. You have to do one of the two. You cannot just switch tools. Okay, so if you see these in your menu, just know that is a tool that you have to either cancel out of or accept out of, and it won't let you do anything else. Now, what we want to do is create a boundary line that shows us where our floor goes. The easiest way to do that is if it is a rectangular shape, like it will be when we floor the kitchen, you can use the rectangle tool. Or when it's non-rectangular, like with the bedroom where we're going to start, you're going to use your line tool. This is a pick wall tool and it works okay, but it kind of puts it in the middle of the wall, which is not real good for what we want to do, especially on the exterior. Now, we also want to select our floor type. So as we drop our floor type down, any of the three for what we're doing right now will work great that are on wood joists. So either wood joist tile, wood joist wood floor, or wood joist carpet are the three that we're going to use. I'm going to start with wood joist carpet in here. So I'm going to actually start on a corner because we do want the walls to come all the way to the outside. I'm going to draw along the outside, and as I come up, I'm going to zoom in so I can stop this about at the middle of this wall. And I got really close, but I didn't get quite on it. We can actually move it later, as long as it's straight up and down. So we're going to pan this over. Now I'm trying to draw this in the middle of the wall because I want to be able to make a nice seam. Again, about to the middle of the wall, across all the way to the outside, and then back around to basically box in the area of, okay, this is what I want as carpet. If I go back to modify, I can click on this line and I can bring it down and I can bring it back up to where it's in the middle of the wall. Same with this one, I can bring it out and then back in onto the middle. That's why the fact that it wasn't right dead in the middle, I could go ahead and just roll with that. So I just fixed those so they are in the middle. The outside walls are on the very outside. You can see in the pink lines, that's where it is. And then I'm going to click accept. And it puts my floor in there. The nice part about the carpet floor is it gives you kind of this like random marked pattern to let you know that that's what's been done. The next floor I want to put in, so I'm just going to click the floor tool again. I'm going to change my floor type to ceramic tile. This time I'm going to use the box tool because I'm going to put tile in the bathroom. I'm going to actually start on this corner right here and drag down to this endpoint right there. The nice part about that is that now it'll go right up against the carpet. So when I put doors in, you'll see one seam, okay? And everything will meet and look very nice. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. I've now got tile in the bathroom. The bad part about tile is when you click out, you'll see there's no fill pattern, okay? You just have to know, okay, I put tile there. So if you're going to use tile in places, just know it does not give you a fill pattern like carpet does or like the wood floor does. So now we're going to do wood floor. I'm going to go floor. I'm going to switch to the box tool. I'm going to switch the type to wood finish. I'm going to start in this corner and I'm going to drag down to where the floor types all intersect there at that endpoint. Again, I'm going to accept that. And I now have wood finish in this floor. I'm going to do floor again. Now, with this time, I'm going to make an entryway. Okay. So as you come into the apartment, there's going to be a little section of wood floor here. So I already got wood floor. Put a little section of wood floor here using my box tool so that as you come in, muddy or wet shoes, stuff like that, not a problem. I'm going to start in the very corner and I'm just going to drag it in. Just like I did before, you'll notice I have some, I can click on a line and I can make some adjustments. I'm going to make it at least 4 feet wide. If I click on this one down here, I'm going to make this at 6 foot. So 4 foot by 6 foot, and I'm going to accept that. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this area in with carpet. So this one is a little tricky. It's nice though, the ones that are trickier, that you have all these other endpoints and lines there to use as guides. So as I add a floor, I am going to switch to the carpet finish. I am going to grab my line tool and I'm going to start just on a corner here. I'm going to come up and find the endpoint, find the endpoint, find the endpoint there, all the way across to the endpoint here, down along to the endpoint here, across to my endpoint there, down to the end of this line, and across. And I know that's a lot of clicking, but as you can see, I just kind of followed the endpoints of the other floors that were there so that everything meets nicely. And when I accept it, I'm good to go. If you have it turn orange, it means it's overlapping. Is it a problem? Maybe. If it's overlapping under a wall where we're not going to put a door or an opening, we really don't care. If it's overlapping in a doorway or in a place where you can see it, you can always, when it's selected, when the floor is selected, click Edit Boundary and come in and make that change. Move that line a little bit, move the corner to the endpoint, and then you'll have to check mark it to go on. All right, so now at this point, got walls up, we've got floors in, which are very important, but we have no way to move from room to room. So our next thing we got to put in is doors. As we look at doors, the ones that are loaded right now are just these single flush doors, which is fine. There are certain ones that we're going to use for exterior doors, so entering from the outside, and there's certain doors that we'll use from the inside, so room to room. Then we'll also get a closet door by importing it. That'll show you in just a few minutes. But we are going to start with this 36 by 84 inch door as our exterior door entrance into the apartment. So one of the nice things is that if you just hover on the wall, you can get either on the outside of the wall or the inside of the wall, depending on which way you want the door to open. So we do want the door to open to the inside of the apartment, and so we're going to do that. I can also at this point flip which side. So because you can see I've got two flippies. I can flip this one side to side, so to flip my hinge side. I can also flip whether it opens out or opens in. So I do want this to open in, and I want the hinge side closer to the wall. I am now going to switch. I'm going to click modify just to make sure I don't accidentally change that door. I'm now going to switch to the 30 by 80 doors. These are the size for the interior. They're a little narrower and they're a little shorter. I'm going to use them in a couple different places. I'm going to use them into the bathroom from the main area. I'm going to use them from the bathroom, between the bathroom and the bedroom. And I'm also going to use that one between the bedroom, and the kitchen. Those are the three places where I need interior doors. Now, if I click modify, I can adjust any of these. So I can flip them. So like the door would open into the bedroom as it would. I'll also be able to adjust this after I put some of my cabinetry or other stuff in to make sure that this is not in the way. I can also flip this one because that's probably the way it would go. And I may need to adjust this one a little bit depending on where everything is. So you can always come back and manipulate those. So far, we can now come into the apartment, which is good. And we can move through. We could get to all the rooms. We're going to do something special between the living room and the kitchen. So I'll do that in a minute. But since we're talking about doors, we need to fix this closet situation. So what we need to do is we need to go to our door tool. And you'll notice under properties, all I have are single flush. I don't have any other doors. So what I need to do is right here, we go to load family. Load family is a way to get extra stuff and bring it in. All right. We don't have, like, as you can see, like there's a whole bunch of, this is all the different families that we have already on the loaded on the computer. And as I go into doors, you can see that there's a bunch of doors here, some under residential, bunch under there, back one, commercial, bunch of different ones there. Okay. Door hardware, bunch of stuff there. But if all this was already loaded into our template would open very, very slowly and Revit would not operate well. That's why they give us some basic stuff to start with. Anything specialized, we got to come grab it. So there's some sliding doors, sliding double doors here that would work. Door double flush panel might work. Flush panel double acting, which means both of them go. I think this is a good one for a closet. You could also look under residential and see if there are any interior durable fluid glass. These are two panel sliding, panel pocket. These wouldn't be pocket doors. I'm going to go ahead and pick this sliding door. So what you need to do is get, I believe we can, yes, if we hold shift, we can get all the sizes. Um, which I wish there was an easier way to do that. But if you hold shift and click them all, you will get all of them. Okay. And when you click OK, it'll bring them in. And you'll notice now I have all the sizes that you saw. If you only click one or you click none, it's going to just give you the top one. So I'm going to take this 48 by 80 and I'm going to put it kind of centered in my wall. Sorry, I'm using my mouse. There we go. I'm going to put it centered in my wall. Now that looks pretty good. Um, I may actually, if this was, I may actually have it be a little, I might have had a little bit wider of a door in reality. So what I can do now is I can actually come back and go, well, what does the 60-inch door look like? Well, that looks much better. I don't know that I want to go any bigger than that because if you think about the way your closet is at home or if you've seen other closets, there is usually a little bit of wall sticking out there that things kind of tuck behind. But you, in most part, you can kind of open everything. So that's a great setup. That 60-inch door works well there. All right, the last thing we're going to do to allow for movement throughout the house is the wall opening. So under the architecture menu, in openings, there's several different openings right here. We're going to create a wall opening. The wall openings are probably the easiest tool to use. So once I create wall opening, I'm going to click which wall I want to open, which is this one. I'm going to click once. I'm going to click a second time to pick a start position, and I'm going to click a third time to pick an end position. And as you can see, I now have an opening in my wall. Okay. Now, it's not just that it deleted wall. What it is there's actually a thing there. So again, just like I can move the doors around, if I put cabinets in here and my wall opening is like not, the wall is not covering the end of the cabinets, I can actually grab this little slider right here, this little arrowhead, and move the opening back and forth. I can move the entire opening. I've got settings for the opening right here. Um, right now, its top offset is 8 feet. I'm going to actually change that to 7 feet 6 inches. Remember, inches is the quotes, not 2 apostrophes. So 7'6", and apply that. Okay. The reason I do that, which I'll show you in a little bit later, is when we look at our 3D view, there'll be a little section of wall above the wall opening, which is much more realistic. The last thing we're going to do as part of our structural overview before we start doing furniture and fixtures is windows. As we look at windows, we again have a bunch of different types. We have some fixed windows that don't open. We have some casement windows that kind of swing out, and we have double hung windows that slide. Um, Whichever type you pick, I'm going to go ahead and pick a double hung. Um, Make sure you always click on the outside edge of the wall. Because as you can see, as I click there, the glass portion is on the outside and the windowsill comes to the inside. So I'm just going to put a couple windows in my living room. I'm going to put one in the kitchen that I'm going to end up sliding so it goes over the um, sink because that's usually where they are. And I'm going to put a couple in the bedroom, and that works just fine. I'm going to actually, I put this window in, I'm going to click on it and delete it because in my mind, if this was apartments, I would have probably a mirror image of this where somebody's bedroom was here and the rest of the apartment was down here. So those wouldn't be windows because that would go from apartment to apartment. That's really probably not the way it's going. So those are my windows. And again, those can slide, those can move. I can click on it. If I wanted to change the type, I can change the type and it will change. This is one of the ones that opens to the outside. You can see that because the doors are pointing to the outside. I can change it back to the type that it was. I can change the size. I can make any changes that I need to. So this is really the end of what we need to create for our view, for our structural part. So I do definitely want to click save. Saving along the way probably would have been a better idea. Now I want to show you how to get your 3D view to show up. So in your project browser, you should see 3D views. If it's not opened up, you can click the plus sign next to 3D views to open it. When you double click your 3D view, it should open in a new tab. Every different view you open should open in a new tab down here. Now to look at your 3D view, you can zoom in and out using your mouse button. One of the things to double check on your 3D view is to make sure the outside of the outside surface texture is on the outside of your walls. You can rotate in a couple different ways. If I hold shift and I push my mouse button down, I can also rotate. I can also use this cube up here to rotate to certain kind of looking at corners. It does like to do it from a wider view. This is kind of a small structure, which is why it does that. So you'll notice again that we used 8-foot walls, 10-foot on the exterior. That leaves you some of that attic space there. You see my wall opening. I did leave like 6 inches of wall at the top of that opening. Okay. 7 or 7'6" is a good size for your wall opening, whichever one you like better. Now, this view is really, really good for looking at stuff. It's not real good for placing stuff. There are a couple times where we'll use a 3D view to kind of take a look at some things or maybe move it around. But this is really just to kind of double check that everything is where it's supposed to be. Congratulations, the structure for your demo apartment is made. It's now time for you to move on to the furniture and fixtures video.